Lieutenant General Michael Flynn only served as President Trump's national security advisor for 25 days, but his short stint in the White House shook the Trump presidency, as NBC's Carol Lee puts it. Carol did a deep dive into what happened with Flynn from 2017 until his pardon last week. It is an amazing piece of investigative reporting on NBCNews.com called Michael Flynn's Firing, a Lie, a Leak, and Then a Liability. Carol joins me now. Carol, some of the details you uncovered in your investigation are just incredible. You wrote that on Flynn's fifth day as national security advisor, he was already searching for a criminal defense attorney on Google. Could you take us through that day?
Yeah, Allison, it's pretty extraordinary. So the day began with Michael Flynn in the afternoon having an interview with two FBI agents in the Situation Room. They even walked through the West Wing, and it's kind of chaotic, and they run into the president. He's decorating. They have this interview. He is not honest with them about his contacts with the Russians. Fast forward a few hours later, and as you said, Michael Flynn is seen in the National Security Advisor's suite, which is a corner suite in the West Wing, standing over his assistant who has her computer screen up, and they're looking at the names of attorneys. So very clear early on, Flynn knew he was in trouble and that this was something that was going to require at least legal representation, which he had refused and said he didn't need in that FBI interview.
Carol, you reported that Flynn repeatedly misled investigators and the president's inner circle, in particular when it came to his conversations with the Russian ambassador. Could you tell us more about that and how the White House reacted when they found out?
Yeah, so the Flynn had these conversations with the Russian ambassador in December of 2016 during the transition. It became public that he did that in the Washington Post, still during the transition in January. At that time, the vice president was going on at CBS for an interview, and he asked Flynn, did you talk about sanctions? And Flynn said, no, the issue never came up. So the vice president repeats that to CBS. Fast forward to later in the Trump administration, and it becomes known because of the warning from Sally Yates, who was acting just head of the Justice Department, said Michael Flynn had this FBI interview. He lied to the vice president. And by the way, he's a potential could be blackmailed by the Russians if you don't do something about this. Then still nobody keeps this, or no one tells the vice president this, and he doesn't learn about it until it becomes fully public in the Washington Post again in February, saying that he did talk about sanctions, and Flynn finally admits that he did. And some White House officials who knew that this was the case then finally informed the vice president and let him look at some of this evidence, and he's very angry about that.
Carol, I know it was a whole lot of work to put this piece together, but man, it must have been interesting working on this. Thank you so much. And I will just tell all of our viewers, if you haven't checked it out on NBCnews.com, you should. It is really fascinating stuff. Carol, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.